Hey everyone, let's create an NPC together for the RPG Builder demo. I'm kind of bored to fight some kind of static target, dummy target. I would like to go out, find an enemy which is also fighting us, and maybe get some experience and loot from him. In this case, I would like to have this wolf here as an NPC, so let's get into it. To create your own NPCs in RPG Builder, there are two steps. One of the steps is to go inside the editor and create it as you create anything else. So here you see we have NPC, we have the NPC module under combat, and you have a lot of settings you can assign. And the second part is going to be setting up the prefab for it. I'm going to start with the editor part right now, so let's get into it. If you see here, you see that NPCs can have abilities, loot table, stats, and all these things. I'm going to actually start by creating those abilities and loot table, and then come to the NPC part and put everything together later. So very quickly, we will create a new item, which is going to be called wolf hide. I'm going to assign an icon for it. This one is going to be of type resource, and it's going to stack 25 times. Very simple item, nothing too fancy here. Let's create a loot table, wolf loot table, maybe 1 or whatever, I don't know. Let's remove the space, I'm not a big fan of it. And let's add the wolf hide as an item of the loot table. You can have as many items as you want. In this case, we will just have one. This will have 80% chance to drop, and it's going to drop from 1 to 3. Let's save, and that's it. We have now a loot table for our wolf. Pretty cool. Let's go to the combat part now. Let's create 2 different abilities. The first one is going to be an auto attack, which is going to be a very basic damage ability in front of the wolf. It's going to be indeed instant damage. Physical damage, it's not going to have a second damage type, and it's going to do 5 damage. That's done. Let's make a new effect, wolf. This one is going to have an actual name and icon because it's going to be represented in the UI as it is going to be a damage over time. So laceration, maybe we call it, and it's going to have an icon, something like that. Like I said, this is going to be damage over time. It's going to last 8 seconds. Also physical damage, but this time it's going to do 25 damage. Maybe we should definitely try to dodge this one. So it's going to stack maybe 3 times and last 8 seconds. I mean, it is going to last 8 seconds and hit us 8 different times, meaning that it's going to hit us every 1 second pretty much. We can save that and go here and create those abilities, because right now with this we're effects, not abilities. So the wolf auto attack ability, let's create a rank here and have this one to be maybe 0.25 cast time. The stun time is going to be a bit longer, and it's going to be a con ability, which is going to hit players and allies. The range is going to be maybe 3 meters, 90-degree angle, only hitting once. It's not going to like pulse multiple times in a row, and maybe only 1 unit in this case. Cooldown is going to be 2 seconds. And we will add an effect, which is the effect we just created, wolf auto attack damage. Concerning the animation, we have one predefined here, which is a NPC melee attack animation. This is going to trigger the melee attack here from the NPC. I'm going to show that in a bit. So we can just save this. And now we have our wolf auto attack ability. And let's create the second one, which was called laceration. Let's find the icon and let's set the settings. So this one is going to be a bit longer to cast, 5 seconds, but also has a bigger impact, you know. The settings are going to be kind of the same. It's also going to be a con. Maybe a bigger range, 90-degree angle hits. 4 is pretty big. Let's keep it to 3. And maybe hit up to 2 enemies this time. But the cooldown is going to be 20 seconds. So it's not, you know, spamming it. And this one is going to apply wolf laceration effect. It's going to use the same animation. Will not be too picky for this demo. And let's save this. So now, as you can see, we have the laceration ability and wolf auto attack ability. And we are ready to create the NPC. So let's go ahead, create the, maybe we will call it, I don't know, forest wolf. And is going to be from level 1 to 3. Is going to be enemy to us. The aggro range is going to be maybe 8 meters or something like, maybe a bit less, 7. not too far, so it's a beginner mob. I don't want him to aggro you across the map and come kill you. And distance from target is going to try and stay away at 4 meters. 4 meters seems pretty high, but it's using the Unity nav mesh system and agents components, and for whatever reason this value feels like 2 meters or 1 meter, so it's fine. And it's going to reset its target after 15 meters. So if we go further than 15 meters away from him, he's going to stop attacking us. The abilities here, you see that we can add as many abilities as we want for our NPCs. And in this case, we will add the wolf auto attack and the wolf laceration. That's it. Respawn is going to respawn from 15 to 25 seconds. Give 1, 2, 3 experience points plus 1 per level. And the loot table is going to be the one we just created, the wolf loot table. And the loot table is going to have a 100% chance to drop. So, concerning stats, you can override stats for your NPC classes and stuff like that. So, we will choose the health to be 150 plus 15 per level. And also the movement speed should be a bit higher because it's a wolf, right? So why not? 9. So it's going to be 2 higher than the player. And maybe let's give him some strength. Maybe like 5. He's going to go as far as 10 meters away by roaming, and he's going to take some 5-second breaks in between. So that's it. I'm trying to go as fast as possible so that the video is not too long. But you see that really quickly we set up all these things for the NPC. So a new item, a new loot tables, 2 new abilities with their own effect and stuff. And we now assign all of these to this NPC. And if we hit save, it's going to create it for us and save all this data. Pretty cool. That was all we had to do in the editor for the NPC part. Now let's go in the scene and prefab part. So very important detail. First of all, if you want to use NPCs and AI, you need to bake the nav mesh for your map. So this is using Unity nav mesh, you know, so that it's available for everyone. And I'm not the best with this system. I don't think my settings are the best setting extra, but it's going to work just fine for this video and demo. But yeah, you need to bake the nav mesh. That's just very important. Once it's done, you can focus on creating the actual NPC. So as you see, we are using this wolf model here, which is, by the way, from Malber's animation. The reason I'm using this one is, well, first of all, because I love them, but also there is a partnership between him and myself coming very soon. He's going to provide a few models such as a wolf, rabbit, a bear, and even a dragon for the RPG Builder asset, and it's going to be amazing. So what we have to do, what I personally suggest to you as a beginner, once you're used to it, you're not gonna go and do that again, but I suggest you go inside the NPCs folder here from the RPG Builder and drag and drop one of the predefined one. In this case, you see that there is this mage that I was using for some previous testing, and by doing that you will have a perfect example and copy of what you actually need. So I'm gonna go ahead here, break the prefab so I can, you know, tweak it and modify it. And the first thing I'm gonna do is remove its actual models and references and stuff like that. I'm also going to rename this from human mage to wolf because that's not a human mage anymore. I'm going to break the wolf prefab, also drag and drop it inside this previously mage prefab, so that now we have this, you know, NPC prefab, and inside there is the wolf. Here, very important, I'm going to copy the animator component and paste it on the animator here from the prefab, but I'm going to disable root motion, set this to normal, and drag and drop the wolf animator here. I'm not gonna go over and explain animators and stuff like that in this video. It's way too long and complex for one video. I'm going to make specific videos for that. Anyway, this is a predefined animator I just made before this video. It just has an idle animation, run, work, combat idle, and a couple attack animations. That's it. This is going to be provided for you anyway, so you can just use this as a base. Anyway, now we have our wolf, and we have to do a couple of things here. So the first thing we have to do is assign the NPC data to the combat node. This is what we just made in the editor. So you see here we have forest wolf, and this is what we just created, forest wolf. So now this is assigned, and here we have a mesh renderer target. I'm just going to drag and drop the wolf mesh renderer, which is, you know, this body, and this is going to be used by the nameplate system. So don't wonder too much about it. Just make sure to drag and drop at least one of the, well, you can only drag and drop one, but the main renderer of your NPC, so maybe the head or the body. And this value here is going to define how high the nameplate is going to be above this enemy. In this case, 1.5 should be fine because it's a wolf, not a human. So that was it for this component. Here we have the animator we just took care of. This component can stay as is. This component can be removed because this is only for the polytop characters. So this is going to change colors extra, but we don't need it in this case. The nav mesh agent is going to stay as is, except that we will tweak the size a bit. So it's not going to be 2, it's going to be 1. And the capsule collider is also going to be 1 and going to be tweaked. And maybe a bit bigger so it fits this mob better. Perfect. And that's it. That's literally all you have to do for your NPCs. Now, it seems like I already have, I'm going to rename this one actually because I already made this prefab. So let's call this one NPC Wolf 2 and drag and drop it here. I'm going to remove this actually. And we now have this prefab here, which is ready to be used. And the last thing we need to do to have this wolf now in the game is to take one of those spawners or create a new one, but in this case I'm just going to duplicate one of those and place it wherever we want this wolf to be spawned. So I'm just going to spawn it a bit outside the village, inside the beautiful map which I made. I'm obviously still working on it, but yeah, for now it's quite empty. Anyway, for now I'm just going to drag and drop here the NPC wolf and replace the dummy target NPC, which means that this spawner, I'm going to call it wolf spawner, this spawner is now going to spawn the wolf instead. So that's perfect. I'm going to go back to the main menu, save, go in game, and we should be able to see the wolf and fight him. So let's make a character. And let's go here. And you can see here, it indeed spawned a wolf, which is just kind of chilling here, well, roaming, and he's going to take some pause, and then he's going to go walk again, and so on. So what we will do is I'm going to learn some abilities. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to fight him back, and that would be an issue. And drag and drop those abilities to the bar. And let me quickly check if he didn't go too far away. No, it's okay, he's still in front. And let's go try and find him. So he's right here. He does not aggro us yet. I'm going to try and attack him. And he's not so happy, obviously. So I'm gonna try to, okay, so as you can see, he's going to try to attack us, and then we can dodge it, but it was pretty quick. But if he starts to attack us, then we can, dodge it because this is a cast bar and so on. But obviously it's pretty quick. I want to see the dot ability. Well, actually I'm gonna kill this one and regen some health. I don't really want to die on this video. It's kind of a shame to die by your own creation. And he dropped some wolf hide, so pretty cool. We have it in our bags, that's perfect. And I'm going to cheat a bit and give myself some health. And you know what? I'm also going to give myself some items. And you can see he just respawned here in front of us. So I'm going to equip this, so we are now much stronger. And that's it. And you should die very quick. Okay, so you see that we also get the experience, the loot, all of that is, generated as it should be. And we can get the loot. So that was pretty much it in terms of going from like a basic prefab, static prefab with just an animator on it to an actual NPC that's in game and that you can fight. So we did actually quite a few things in this video. We created 2 abilities, 2 effects, a new item, a loot table, a new NPC. We assigned some stats to it and so on. So that's pretty cool. I think personally it was quick enough to do, and it's very practical, and you can just very easily tweak those things here now. So for example, if I was like, okay, this is not doing enough damage, this wolf 8 damage, so in this case maybe it should do 20. Well, you see that it's the dot, actually we just got hit by the dot and it killed us here, so that's kind of sad. But if I would go ahead here and be like, okay, wolf auto attack is not doing enough damage, maybe it should do 3 times this now, save, and now you see that it's dealing 20 to us. So very, very quick, you could tweak those things. And here you see that we have the dot effect at the bottom here, and it's dealing 20 damage every time. So that's quite a lot. Probably need some tweaking, but yeah, that's not the point of this video, to be balanced. That was to show you the entire process. So that's it. I'm having fun personally creating those things and knowing how quick it can be to iterate and so on. I hope you will too. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.